Hey guys, welcome back to the next video. In this video, we are going to follow up on the monitoring your um, Openshift cluster. So we're gonna start with that. So for this example, what we're going to do is like we are going to look at the node first. We're gonna understand that because you can refer the log of node, pod, all the services which is running as part of the Openshift cluster. Now to look the log of the load, log of the node or events of the node. You go to compute, select node, and then you have two nodes over here. Let's look at the log of, let's look at the events of this worker node first. Events are defined at the top. You can see that you can access the event, and it says like it's streaming event, and there is no event over here. There is no event, meaning that there is nothing to report right now, which has happened on the worker node. When you click on the logs, you can see the logs of that particular application. In this situation, this is a worker node from OCP. So you will see similar logs which is related to GCP routes. You can see log related to kube wrapper, systemd. So all those kind of logs which is needed for your application for this particular, you know, particular node to work. So that logs are over here. So you can see those logs which is getting updated. Perfect. Now the next thing is like pods. The particular node has pods running, so you can see all the details of the pods which is running in there. And then one of the important things is terminal. So you can actually connect to the worker node via terminal, which means that it will give you like putty-like interface on the worker node. So you'll be able to work with the um, core, core OS. It may take a little bit of time, but then it will get it connected, and you'll be able to work with that. Now you can do the similar items in your pods as well. You can see that just given that. So I can just work out like a normal Linux system within your OpenShift, so, OpenShift cluster itself. Now I can go to OPD and see what other files and folders are installed. Anything needs to be done here. Look all the services which we have over here running. Use top command if it's available. You can see that OpenShift route, Prometheus, a lot of services have been occupying core DNS. So this is how we can access the node server. So yeah, everything is accessible. So now let's go to the pods. So if you see the pods over here, you can select one of the pods from here itself, and then goes to logs, events of that particular, you know, um, pod, and then you can access the terminal of that pod as well. So you're actually in the pod. If a pod has multiple containers, you will be able to see this drop down box where it says C. C meaning container, P meaning pod. You can see that this particular pod has multiple containers under it. Surprising. So, which means that you can connect terminal to any of this container which is running out there by just selecting the container name. So you'll be able to connect to that particular container within the pod. All right. So this is what for the first activity we are supposed to do is to understand the pod and the events, logs, and all those things. Now events will start generating if you are doing something or if your pod is performing some activity. Now the best pod for that is basically going over to pod and then searching for OpenShift console. As we are in the console, I'm expecting some activity to happen here. So you can see that this one has more item over here. So events over here. So it's just no event generated right now. Okay, so what we can do is like we can go back to the pods and select all projects, and then you can sort it via memory utilization, and then this pod which is running with more memory should actually provide you events. When you wait for a little bit, it will start updating you with events. So just wait for it, and then it will give you the, the pod related events which is happening at the pod level. All right. So now the other option which we spoke about is the observe metrics. So here there are multiple options over here. We have observe alerting, where it captures alerts, metrics where you can write a query and you can expect some kind of a result. For example, CPU utilization, right? Memory utilization, and then you can select where do you want to execute this. So it basically tells you OpenShift Kube API service. So it is the particular project which you are in. So it is showing you for that particular project. You can also set it for 5 minutes. So the interval will be 5 minutes, and you can see the utilization here, and it basically refreshes every 5 minutes. You can also reset the zoom and try to understand for the 30 minutes interval. And you can see there are these two options over here. So you have the couple of pods which is occupied over on this particular instance, and you can see both the pods will be displayed over here. So you can see multiple readers over here. The one on the orange, right? So that actually has the maximum memory aligned to it. So you can see that. You can also select some of the pods, and you can isolate some of the pods when you're checking the output. So you can see that I'm isolating one of the pod over here. So it only gives the output of this one, not everything else. So likewise, you can run query and you update it. You can update it instantly if you run the query. So it will give you the update. You can also turn on the refreshing over here. You can select 15 seconds, so it automatically refreshes rather than you typing it. All right. So this is basically the metrics. But if you want a full overview of your entire infrastructure and you want to create your own dashboard, you can do that over here. So this particular dashboard talks about there are these four options over here. The namespace pod, the namespace workload pod, and then you have the compute resource pod. Likewise, instead of namespace, you can go for pod workload, where you can see the pod workload, CPU throttling, and all those action items over here. So this basically tells you how it is working with the Prometheus and Grafana, which is integral part of your OpenShift, which comes by default to monitor all the operations which you do in OpenShift. All right, then, this is all I want to talk to you on this video. Hope that you understood how to view events, how to view logs, and all those things which is needed for this training. I'll see you on the next video with more information.